Hey everyone, thanks for joining the Ignite Youth Summit. Thank you so much for checking out our session here. My name is Jamy Bechler. I do leadership work. I used to be a basketball coach in college. I used to be a high school athletic director. We've written some books. We're the host of the Success is a Choice podcast. Thank you so much for checking out this session. Once again, when you get better, when you have personal development, when you grow and improve as a coach, as a leader, as an administrator, the people that you interact with, the people that you have an impact on, the people that you influence, they are going to have an opportunity to get better. So when you get better, they get better as well. So thank you so much for checking this out. I want to give you a couple stories from my past, hopefully relate them to what you're doing right now. So let's go way back in the DeLorean, the Wayback Machine, back to second grade. And Mrs. Johnson was my second grade teacher. And Mrs. Johnson had this prize box. And if we read so many pages in a book, we got to put our hand in that prize box, find something that we wanted, toys, candy, games. Well, I found baseball cards. And this was the first time I ever really got introduced to sports card. And I started to love baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards. It didn't matter. Mainly baseball cards. Those were the number one thing. Now, I wasn't much of a reader then, but I was inspired to read because Mrs. Johnson gave us great prizes if we read. Now, I'll be honest, I don't remember a single book. I don't remember anything I read, but I do remember baseball cards. I do remember that prize box. I do remember being inspired to read. I don't remember what I read, but obviously I read something because I ended up moving on to third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. So I obviously did something right in the reading department. Well, fast forward all the way to third grade. So I'm going through all these baseball cards, these football cards, these basketball cards. And one day I find this card, kicker, Green Bay Packers All-Star, Chester Marcol. Chester Marcol, all-pro kicker for the Green Bay Packers. But the special thing about that was I looked on the back of his card, and he went to Hillsdale College. Hillsdale was our local college. I was so excited. I went in, told my third grade teacher, hey, I found this card of this guy who went to Hillsdale College. She was like, oh, can I look at it? I showed it to her, and she goes, well, can I keep this for a little bit? I want to show my husband. I'm like, yeah, sure, but just don't, break it. Kind of like a third grader would, a little apprehensive. And also like a third grader, I soon forgot that I'd given my card to my third grade teacher. Well, about a month went by, and one day we're working in class, and all of a sudden there's this knock on the door. And this guy comes in and he goes, is Jamy around? Is Jamy here today? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm Jamy. And Chester Marcol comes over to me, pulls out this card, signs it in front of my class, gives me a handshake. It's awesome. I'm the king of the day for the class, essentially, because this football player signed his football card in front of my class. So I was the man that day. Now, just like second grade in the books I read, I don't remember a single thing from third grade. I obviously did well enough in school to pass on to the fourth grade and fifth grade and sixth grade and so on. I obviously learned some stuff. I don't remember a single thing I learned, but I remember how that third grade teacher made me feel when she went out of her way to get this guy, this professional football player, to sign my football card. Those are the experiences that we remember. Seventh grade. I'm in seventh grade. I'm in a class with Bill. Bill is my friend, but Bill's kind of a screw up. I get good grades. My mom's a teacher, so I got to kind of watch myself. Well, Bill gets in trouble a lot. Well, we're paired for this partner assignment in class, and Bill actually does a great job with it. We put together this great assignment. We turn it in. We're pretty proud of it. I'll never forget when the teacher turned it back. I got an A, Bill got an F. And the teacher looked at Bill and said, Bill, there's no way that you did this work because I know Jamie's a good student and you're not. You must have let him do all the work. Now, at first, that might seem really harsh and it might seem, gosh, that wouldn't happen. But we do judge people. We have preconceived notions or thoughts about people that we interact with all the time. Bill had a history that was not good. Bill had a history that would say, you know what, he probably didn't do the work. The problem is that teacher didn't give him a chance to ever turn it around or do something different. Fast forward 5 years, and Bill ended up killing a couple people, went away for life in prison. Now, obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. Obviously, that's an extreme example. But that's a situation where there was at least one person in Bill's life, one authority figure that had an opportunity to catch Bill doing good. One authority figure, one adult had an opportunity to catch Bill doing good, and that person failed. I have no idea what would have happened to Bill if Bill had gotten an A like he deserved on that test. But I know that sometimes we have opportunities in life to catch people being good, to pat them on the back, to say that a boy, that a girl, to boost their confidence, to encourage them. And maybe, just maybe, that's the thing that they needed to get over the hump. Maybe they've been beaten down. Maybe they've not had positive affirmation in their life at any time. And that teacher wouldn't have had to lie. That teacher wouldn't have had to make something up. All that teacher had to do was say, Bill did this work really well. Congratulations, Bill. That was awesome. That's what you can do every time. Attaboy. Catch Bill doing good. You know, I was, like a lot of you, I was an athlete in high school. I was the captain. I was the point guard of my basketball team. I would go on to be 20 years a college basketball coach. Despite being a captain, despite being a future coach, I can remember one play, one name of a play, one play that we ran my senior year of high school when I was the senior captain and we won the conference championship. I was a future coach. I can only remember one play. By the way, it was called Roper. It was an out of bounds play. But anyways, that one play is all I can remember. But I can remember countless times that Coach Dunn, my basketball coach, would say, attaboy, would encourage me. I remember specifically the day that he came over to me when I was a junior in high school and said, you know, Jamie, I really do think you have a chance to play college ball one day. I remember that. I'm shooting free throws off at the side after practice. I remember that. I remember all these other things that he said to me. It's not the knowledge. It's not the plays. It's not even the wins so much as it is. I remember how my coach made me feel at different times. And he encouraged me to be the best that I could be, both on and off the basketball court. You see, we're going to have those kinds of opportunities. Most of us have watched the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you know, there's that teacher, I forget what even subject he was teaching, but Ben Stein was the actor. Ben Stein in the movie, you know, and it's Bueller, anyone. There's no question that Ben Stein was the smartest person in the room. Ben Stein was very smart. That teacher was very, very smart. He had knowledge and insights and wisdom to communicate to his pupils, but they weren't listening because they weren't inspired. They didn't have a reason. It goes more than just how much you know. You know, the old saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They don't care how much you know. They don't care about the insights, the intelligence, even the life experience you have, but they do want to know that you care about them. They want to be inspired. That's what we all have an opportunity to do, especially when we're dealing with youth, the people that we interact with. I got a message a couple years ago from a former University of Michigan basketball player, went on to play professional for a number of years overseas. And he wanted to reach out to me and tell me I had coached him in 7th grade at the University of Michigan basketball camp. And he was a tall kid. And as a lot of you know, when you're a tall kid in 7th grade, you play inside. You're a post player. You're a center. I was the first coach that he said, the first person that really gave him confidence that he could be a point guard. And he ended up being a point guard in college and in the pros. But he was a really tall kid, much taller than all of his friends. And so he said, I encouraged him to play point guard. I gave him the confidence to do that. And so he went to the next week of camp at a different camp, and he was excited about going to camp. He didn't have to play post anymore. He felt like he could play point guard, and that allowed him to have that motivation, to have that excitement to go into the next camp that he was scheduled at. That's what we're really all about. It's not that we're changing lives. It's that we're breathing breath into people. We're maybe installing a little enthusiasm in them to get them not from where they're at to, their goal in life. Like, I didn't do anything to help that kid get to be a professional basketball player, but I did help him get to the next week of camp. Sometimes our interactions, it's not going to get them to go from an F student to an A student, but it might be just to get them through the next class, to get them through the next 10 minutes of their day, to get them through the next day. It's just little baby steps, our little interactions with people. Because the truth is, we are dealing with people. We're working with people. We're interacting with people that are the future husbands and wives, fathers, mothers, business people, educators, coaches, leaders in our community. Our community 10, 15, 20 years from now is based upon what we do right now with the students that we interact with. So guys, thank you so much for all that you do for student athletes, for students, for the people that you interact with. It's awesome. Keep it up. It's going to be so worth it. You're making a difference. You can be a person of influence. So thanks so much. Think about the way you interact with people. It's not all about teaching them a skill. It's not all about teaching them something out of a book. Sometimes it's about the interaction. Sometimes it's about the feeling. Sometimes it's about how you impact and influence. So thank you so much. Once again, thank you for checking out this conference. So long. Take care. Thanks.